host, uh, the pastor of the Wisdom Place, lead pastor of the Compass Assembly, and the co-lead pastor of the Compass Assembly. That's going to take a while to adjust into. So thank you for the privilege. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the amazing things that you do and for the mentorship, free mentorship that we're providing for parents across the city of Port Harcourt and beyond. I want to celebrate. Can you just jam your hands together and celebrate Pastors Wisdom and Favor Osiri? Some of the things that are given to us for free, it's something that parenting coaches will charge you in dollars for. But I hope we don't take them for granted. I want to celebrate Ms. Heather. I will never forget again how to pronounce that name. You see, when a teacher stands to teach, she just said one line. Whether Heather. It's talk. Yes. So I'll never, ever, ever forget how to pronounce that name again. Excellent session, ma'am. I wouldn't wish for a better foundation for what I'm about to do. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm talking about raising creative and techy kids in a rapidly changing world. Those are two different topics wrapped up into one. So I'm going to try to see how to touch a bit of here and a bit of there. Raising creative kids is one thing. Raising techy kids is related, but it also has its own skill set. But I want to quickly take a census. I want to know what parents I'm talking to. So if you're here and you're not yet a parent, you are newlywed, you just came to learn ahead of time, or you're not even newlywed, you're not wed yet. You just want to equip yourself ahead of time for parenting. Let me see your hand. Okay, beautiful. All right, you're here, your kids are under 5. Let me see your hand. Just give me a wave. Kids under 5. All right, you're here, your kids are in their teens and up. All right, beautiful. Okay, so I know who I'm talking to and how to modify what I'm saying. I bring you greetings from my people, my family. My wife should be here, but she's on her way back into town. And baby Kyra. All right? I don't know what I'm going to say. When veterans have spoken, Miss Heather's kids are all grown up. But parenting is something that all of us must do properly. I pastor young people like the profile said. And on Sunday, I was trying to address some things that came up. And one of the things I told them is, I don't blame you for the things you're doing. I blame the people who raised you. And as a church at the Compass Assembly Room OC, we're trying to do our own effort to reparent. Reparenting is not an easy thing to do. All right? Once a child is set in his ways, it's challenging, but we're doing our best. So our job as parents is something that we cannot outsource. Like Miss Momo said, it's not something we should outsource. It's something we should take wholeheartedly and carry on with it. Because if we don't do that, the truth about it is that the proprietress or the proprietor of the school where your kids are going to, their job is done when your kid graduates. Your kid is your kid for life. When you're 60, when you're 70, and they're breaking your heart when you should be celebrating the reward of your hard work, it's you that's going to reap it. So it's your job, it's my job to raise kids that are sound. All right, so I'm going to define creative. I'm going to start with raising creative kids. I'm going to define creativity quickly. Creativity is the ability to convert imagination into reality. A lot of definitions. I'm going to pick on a few that will help us grab a better picture of what I'm talking about. The ability to convert imagination into reality. So it's also the ability to convert knowledge into real-world solutions. So you can go to school and memorize the textbooks and write exams. People like us were never good at cramming anyway. So if it was a course that had a teacher that wanted, give me what I gave you, we'll fail those courses usually. All right? We are more of, give me the concept and allow me to express myself. All right? So creativity is your ability to take that knowledge and express it in solving real-world problems. And then another way I put it is creativity is your ability to make connections between unconnected things. Your ability to make connections between things that are not connected. And then it's also your ability to perceive the world in new ways. All of these describe creativity because it's a bit elusive to get a concrete definition for creativity. Ability to turn imagination into reality, ability to perceive the world in new ways, ability to make connections between unconnected things, ability to find hidden patterns. Ability to find hidden patterns. And I wish I had the time to talk about pattern recognition and the future. The world we live in is evolving so fast that even futurists can't really predict what the next 50 years is going to be like. The world we are creating. You know, those days you could predict in 10 years' time this is likely going to happen, but even the smartest guys can't predict what may happen. And what can guide your kid in succeeding in that world tomorrow is one of the things that they should learn is ability to relate with patterns and use patterns to simulate what the future may look like and prepare for it. And then lastly, creativity is the ability to generate solutions. So if your creativity is not generating solutions, it's a waste of energy. All right? So how do we raise kids that fit into this category of people who are able to make connections between unrelated ideas, who are able to solve problems and all of that? You know, I was looking at the research, I think from IBM. IBM said that in the next 20 to 30 years, creativity will be the most important skill for success in the workplace. They didn't say coding. They didn't say AI. They didn't say what are the popular things now? They said creativity will be the most important skill for success in the workplace. So, okay, so we're going to have a session for caregivers in the Teens Church. Teens Church is the first building you see as you walk in through the gate. So, is that happening now, sir? Go ahead and make the announcement, please.
Okay, sorry to cut you in. Please, if you're a caregiver or you're a nanny and you're here, we'll have a special session for you in the Teens. So, if you're a caregiver, please, can you just indicate why we just move to the other side?
You're a nanny, a minder in school.
Yeah. A caregiver is a special session packed and something very important for you to learn. It's happening there as we speak. So if you're a caregiver, you're a nanny, you want a hand is up, please. So please just follow the man standing on the side wearing the whites. Just this way. Okay, so just this way. If you're a nanny or a caregiver
in school,
there's something more relative for you that is more important for you to hear. Okay, so you can come to it, please.
All right, thank you so much. And media guys, my time. Thank you.
Join this lady, please.
I didn't dash that out. So add up a minute for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so
Thank
you. It's fine. Okay, so how do we raise creative kids? One of the greatest things you can do to be able to raise kids who are creative is to allow them, you know, something Ms. Heather mentioned, to ask why. The word why is a world of possibilities. Because we were raised, well, good enough, thankfully, I had a parent who allowed me to ask why a lot. And somehow, I believe that the trajectory of my life wouldn't have been the way it was if I didn't have people who allowed me to question things. In fact, they even taught me how to generate the questions by as many questions as possible. All right? So you want to raise kids who can generate as many questions as possible. And when they ask you why, sometimes, you know, some of the times the reason we shut them down is because we don't know. Especially our daddies. You know, we have a hush down strategy for everything. Sit down there. Shut up. And the truth about it, behind that shut up, and amazingly, if I take a census now, the number of men inside this auditorium is compared to the number of women. Parenting is the job of the head of the family. Whatever the mother does she's doing it as an assistant in the job. And so when we push them forward to learn these things alone, and we don't learn them ourselves, it creates an imbalance in the home. So I'm here telling us to allow our children to ask why. And then the mothers go home and allow the children to ask why. And then the kids come back and ask why to the fathers. And the fathers tell them, shut up. Why are you asking me? Don't you have respect? Is that what they taught you in school? These are the basic answers to why. in our homes. All right? And so, but if we don't let our kids learn how to ask why, it won't create the space for them to begin to see how you think. Of course, to raise creative kids, you need to be a creative parent yourself. Or maybe even if you're not that creative, even if they didn't raise you creative, there's a way you can modify your response to why questions that help the kid grow up creative, even if you're not creative yourself. My mom used to do it. So when I go and ask, why is this thing like this? Mommy, why is this? She'll tell me, you know what? You go research, go to the library, research about it, you come and tell me. That's how I developed a love for books. That's how I developed a love for trying to solve things by myself. That's how I developed a love for just going away. I can lock myself up and until I find a solution to a problem, I'm not out of that issue. So that ability to allow your children to ask why confidently, why is not a crime. It's not a mark of disrespect. So, and like Ms. Heather said, and something very powerful, learn to reward the effort they make in finding out the answers to the why questions. They may have made a mess. Of course, your children will make a mess. I remember one of those days I took our TV apart and because I had asked, why is the box big? What's this thing that's protruding at the back? And they said, find out. So yeah, I had to find out. So I got a knife and I don't want to, let me leave you to your imagination of how the experiment ended. All right? But some parents would have come back and gave that child a beating of their life. But I didn't get a beating. I got a conversation. Wow. This TV cost money to buy. The money that I should use to replace it could pay your school fees and sort out things in the house. Do you realize there is financial pressure in the house? Do you appreciate the fact that there's that pressure? What would you want to do to help us? That resets my idea about experimenting with things that I know that are expensive. It didn't stop me from experimenting. It just made me weigh the value of what I'm experimenting with before I start to experiment. So allow them to ask why questions. And then the next thing, create space for unstructured play. You know, some of the times, the current trend in parenting is that we have our kids booked. 3 p.m. lessons. Okay, let's start from the morning. 8 a.m. to the school they go. 3 p.m. we pick them up. They do lunch. 4 p.m. they've gone for moral classes and all of that. By the time it's 8 p.m., these kids are stressed up with bookings and schedules and stuff. I attended a Catholic seminary. Hyper regimented. From the moment the bell rings by 5 a.m., you wake up, you take your bath. 5:30, you're in the chapel for morning prayers. By 7:30, you are done with morning prayers and morning mass. You go for your morning chores. By 8 a.m. or by 7:45, you go to refectory and eat food. By 8 a.m., you're supposed to be in assembly. By 8, you're supposed to be in class. The bell rings, you go for break. The bell rings, you come back to class. The bell rings, you go to church for afternoon prayers. The bell rings, you go for lunch. Bell rings, you go for siesta. Bell rings, you wake up and go for afternoon prayer. Bell rings, you wake up and go for, come out and go for labor or games. Bell rings, you go in and take your bath. Bell rings, you go to the chapel for evening prayers. Bell rings, you go and have dinner. Bell rings till 10 p.m. and you are going to bed to sleep. It's good in a way. It created a certain part of me that is disciplined and structured. But when I came out into Nigeria, it took me a while to get life. Because bell rings, you go to the refectory, the plates are already arranged. Everything is arranged. Your names are labeled on the table. You know exactly where to walk and sit, and life is just everything is prime and proper, organized, clockwork. You walk into the chapel, your name is labeled, and you know where to walk to sit there. You know how many minutes the mass will last, and you come out, you know how to plan your life. Nigeria doesn't work like that. And the world we are going into does not even work like that. So by the time you raise kids that are overshadowed and overbooked, when you throw them into situations that don't look familiar with the structures and regiments, I'm not against routines, rituals, and rhythms. You have to, teach them that early on. But at some point, allow them some measure of unstructured space. Let them just breathe. And let the children breathe. Let them play. Let them get bored. One of the triggers of creativity is boredom. But within the confines of values, meaning that you would have grounded them in values first before you allow them to get bored, because they could get bored and decide to experiment with obscene stuff. So there are values in place already, and then let them get bored. By the time they get bored, those days when I get bored, I get into the backyard, I look for how to construct things with broomsticks and wires and stuff. That allows creativity to come up in a child's, psyche. Then the other thing, my time, oh God. Expose them to arts. Expose them to arts. Expose them to, I know that you want them to be a medical doctor, an engineer, a cybersecurity expert, but calm down. Expose them to paintings. Expose them to different forms of art, to creative writing. Expose them to good public speaking. Expose them to poetry. It will make better scientists out of them if you want them to be, even if you want them to be scientists. Because science is problem solving. If you can't apply creativity to problem solving, you're going to create products that don't really touch the heart and the lives of the people that you're selling the products for. You know something? I think it's Henry Ford that said, if I had asked the people what they wanted, they would have said they wanted faster horses. Because he lived in a world where horses were the means of transportation. He said he would have, if I asked them what they wanted, they would have asked for faster and stronger horses. But I decided to go creatively into what could solve their problems, and I came up with the automobile. So sometimes people don't even know the solution to their issues. As a science or a core engineering student, some measure of creativity will make them stand out. A creative engineer will rise to the top of his industry as a leading solution provider. An engineer, math, will always end up as the guy behind doing the mechanical work and the technical work. And that's just what he's going to be. All right? And then celebrate difference and imagination. Your kids are not meant to be like you. So I'm not like that a lot these days. Because of that training, somehow I could walk into a dark room and use my fingers to tell what cloth is where on the wardrobe. Because they're all well arranged in a particular order that is registered in my mind. I think Pastor Wisdom has that thing too. I've heard him say he can figure out which key without looking, just by. At some point, my key holders, the keys are arranged in a sequence that I can easily put my hand in my pocket, pick out the key to which door. All right? I had worked in headquarters for a while. And if you look at my key ring, all the doors, the keys are arranged in order of the offices they open. My keys, I don't expect my keys to be like that. So you could have a child who just decides, you know what, this key, just scatter it. Why should there be a key holder? Why can't we have a key box with all the keys inside the box? Whenever you want, you shake it, and pick the one you want and open the door. Allow that too. Because one of the things you want to do as a family is to have a lot of variety. You don't want a family where everybody is thinking the same, thinking alike. If you're like that, it's going to be, one, a boring family. Two, you're going to be a one-strategy disaster, because all the enemy needs to, we're in a spiritual environment too. And enemy needs one strategy to destroy everybody. Everybody sees the same thing. Nobody can see what's at the back. And then create environment for risk-taking. Allow them to take risk, experiment, make a mess of things if they have to. All right? So you need to, this is part of the things I'm trying to create up front for our girl. To make sure that while we like an organized living room, but to also make space for her to come up and have a space to make mess and we'll be okay. Last. All right? And if you're here, you don't have a child yet, let me give you some heads up. Don't invest too much in chairs and furniture for now. I remember the sharp razor blade in our living room chair, just to see what is inside. And that one got me some flogging. That was early. All right, so train your children for range. What do I mean range? If you notice in my profile, that's one of the things I was trained for. Range is that you don't begin at age 3 to tell this child you must be a basketballer. So let's go and rehearse how to play basketball. What you want to do is when your child is younger Allow the child to learn a broad range of things. That is one of the things, except the Lord told you in a prophetic word, my daughter, this my son that I give to you is going to be an engineer, a mechanical engineer to be specific. Unless God told you that, even with that, one of the ways to discover, the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, not the way you want him to go. One of the ways you discover the way he should go is to allow him or her have access to a range of things and skills. And you begin to observe, like Miss Heather said, observe the ones that you see that there is strength in. You now begin to channel that child into that particular way that he should go. Because they said jack of all trades is a quotation that was misquoted actually. Jack of all trades is a master of none. Not true. The person who even quoted that and didn't quote it that way, somebody modified it to suit his own agenda. All right? So be a jack of all trades, but be a master of one. It's going to make you a better master of the one. Let me jump from creativity and go into tech because time has gone off. Can't say how long I have again. Guys, help me so I don't overshoot. Okay, I have 10 minutes. Jeez. God help me. All right, so you've got to trigger a lot of room for curiosity in your child. Let them find things. You know this thing about shouting down a child because he is in a place that you don't want him to be. All right, you bought a new magazine, and for one, you shouldn't keep funny magazines where your kids should see. All right, keep magazines that intentionally keep adults, when I say adult now, grown-up magazines that have ideas that they can explore. Early on, they begin to flip the pages and see cars and see models of cars and flip the pages and see fashion designs and flip the pages and see all of those things. That begins to open their mind into different concepts. Remember I said creativity is your ability to connect dots between one unrelated area to this other related area. All right? All of this will help your kids to come up a lot more creative than they are right now. Like I said, creativity is the most important skill that your kids will need to learn for the world coming. I'm moving now into raising techie kids. I want to mention a few things. I know that there are expectations that many of us are expecting me to start with. You know, probably you expect me to tell you what digital skill your child needs to learn now as you're living now, what app to download for your child and all of that. But that's not the perspective I'm going to follow today. All right. Cyberbullying, pornography addiction, loss of sleep. What do they call it now? Deep fakes, scam opportunities, low moral values, negative culture. I could name many of isolation from the real world, poor social skills, low emotional intelligence, digital overload, screen addiction. All of these are words that we have become familiar with in this generation, and all of them came out of technology. Many years ago, when I was a child, none of these things were really things that was a reality for us. So when I say raising techie kids, I'm talking about raising kids who are able to use technology for productive purposes and productive ends. Raising techie kids is not buying laptop and giving to your child and enrolling him for coding class alone. That has its place. As a matter of fact, this session, I'm just dedicating this session to let you know that even the coding you sent your child to learn is going to become obsolete before you know it. So I'm talking about raising kids who will be relevant and techie for the long haul. That's what I'm talking about. You know, one of the some days ago, I have a number of young people that I mentor and I coach. Because of range, I have a bit of background in business, a bit of background in tech, a bit of background in media and all of that. So I believe that it makes me a better pastor. I pastor young people. So I'm their business coach, I'm their career expert, I'm their some of them the other day I just sent a message. There's a new app, there's a new technology, a new tool that is called Lovable. How many of us have heard about Lovable? So Lovable is an AI tool that can create code. You don't need a coder. All right? All you need to do is tell the app the idea of what you want to create, and the app will code it for you. So I decided, okay, Normally, I would check in with all of them on their different areas of strength that I'm mentoring them on. So the techies, two of them are here. One is not here. So for the I sent 4 of them the message. I said, Lovable is out. This is a threat to you. All right? What are you doing to protect yourself from it? I had responses. I'll pick 3 of them that responded. The first one said, it will never work. The people will never know how to use it. They will always come back to me for proper coding. Something like that. The second guy said, that is why, so sir, what I'm doing right now is to learn. I am learning another skill. He mentioned the skill he's learning that is better than, that will give him a longer period of relevance in the tech industry than the current coding skill. This one already is working, is earning money in dollars. He's a teenager, actually. Earning money in dollars in coding. All right. And then the last person gave me the best response. He said, we're already creating a product for the market that is already standing side by side with Lovable. It's a mindset. One is a mindset of, look, it will never happen. Sorry, dude. He's here. He's right in front of me. The other one, the other one has a mindset of, I'm going to have to relearn to get a job. And the third one has a mindset of, I am creating a product that solves problems at the same level as this. You see, 3 different mindsets. And all of them have to do with where these people are coming from. The person with the third answer has a longer experience in the industry and is right here too. And so he's able to look beyond, take tech beyond just learning tech to get a job. Take tech beyond just learning tech to become, let's say I'm smart. Take tech to the point where he's able to solve problems for people and bring value to the society. Who says we cannot have the next Silicon Valley in Nigeria? So, can't see that. So technology should be used as a tool, not a toy. Buying a phone and dropping it with your child is not raising techie kids. Giving your child a phone at 5 years is not raising techie kids. It's one of the most dangerous things you could do for your child. Right now, I pastor young people again. I keep saying, one of the things that has come up on my radar is that parents these days are even pushing their young kids into doing Yahoo. So there's a young man we've actually pulled him out of close proximity to his dad because they keep insisting, why are you not making money every day? So we gave him some courses to do online on coding and all of that. And so the father keeps asking, you've been pressing phone. Your mates are pressing the same phone and they are buying cars and buying land. So when the pressure got too much, I thought, you know what? We need to find a way to limit your exposure to that influence. We even have another one that the parents, the family is not doing very well financially. So they have a neighbor whose kids that are doing Yahoo and they bought land. And the woman has been putting pressure on the mother. Can you just get your kids to let them even start and get the money first? Then later on they can repent. That's not the kind of... That's not the kind of tech savvy we are talking about. It's the kind of tech savvy where there is... Technology that is used to solve human problems. Technology that has value and relevance to humanity. And one of the things, because my time is short, I'm just going to wrap up with maybe 2 points and then skip to the end. All of this is in a we're working on we've wrapped up on a book that is launching on the 1st of June. I don't want to sell books, so when it's ready, you'll see it somehow. Raising kids for the next generation, all right? The world that your kids are going to live in, you can't imagine it yet. Only AI has changed the narrative for everything. There are other technologies that are still booting. We still have certain dimensions of biotechnology. We still have nanotechnology. By the time all of those come into this world, it is going to be a completely different world. All right? We're talking about a world where people are able to download their minds and memories into a chip. So when they die, they can transfer it into another body and continue living. That is the world your child is going to live in. Question is, are you raising them to be ready for that world? Coding is something that AI can do by itself. Giving coding lessons to your child is normal. It's like teaching your child how to speak English. It does not guarantee success in life. It's just a basic skill that they need to have. And they all must have it. Most of them must have it. But beyond that, you need to raise kids who are able to to do life in the world that is coming. So the major thing I want you to live with as far as raising Techy kids is concerned is governance. We have parents in 3 categories. You are either going to be a parent who is nonchalant. In other words, I buy the laptop, I give to you, whatever you do with it is left for you and your God. Or you're going to be a parent who is going to be empowering. I buy the laptop for you, I buy the phone for you, but I go further to research about what you're using the laptop for. I'm able to recommend what apps for you to download. I'm able to install governance tools that help me understand what you're doing with the device. All right? I'm able to, have conversations with you on how these things work, meaning that you yourself need to go and learn. So gone are the days of walking over to your child's device. Hey, what is this one? Hey, okay. I don't know those things. Gone are those days. That is a dead parenting strategy. You need to have at least a base knowledge of what these things are and what they can do. Some kids are going behind the dark web these days. All right, recently, it's been in the news for the past 3 or 4 days, the FBI and EFCC came into Nigeria to arrest people who have been doing sextortion. What do? Adults, grown-up people who pose as ladies and, reaching out to young boys and in the UK and in the US and the rest of the West and telling them to send their nude pictures. That they are pretty girls, and because they are, these kids, sometimes kids will always be kids. So they send the nude pictures, and once the pictures are in and videos are in, they now say, okay, look, I've got your nudes here. I'm going to report you to your mother, or I'm going to put the videos online if you don't send me XYZ $1,000 or XYZ $100. And we've had young people who committed suicide because they didn't want to be shamed by these people. Question is it possible that your child could be sending nudes to people he doesn't know online? Is it possible that the last time he asked you for money for something in school, it wasn't about something in school, it was about paying off the guy who was going to blackmail him or her for the nudes he sent? Have you ever sat down to say, okay, you know what? We need to set rules around the use of gadgets and devices in this house. Very important. Initially, because I thought I'm a techie, so my child, last, should be a tech sis or a tech bro. But recently, I just decided to sit down and say, you know what? We need to formulate a framework. I can't tell you what framework to use in your own home because your home is different and your kids are different. So I'm not going to tell you this is the age for your children to start using phones. You know your child, which takes us back to what Miss Momo said. Know your child. There are children you can entrust with devices at age 10 and they're fine. There are children that you have to keep them until they're 17. All right? So you need to set up governance frameworks around that. You need to start early with digital literacy, whether you know it or not. One of the things you can do if you're not a techie parent, find techie parents in your community that you can trust. You can actually start a club, a techie club. Gather parents together, go to wherever school your child goes. If your child is in Eluid, go there, ask them to set up clubs. What happens is this: when those kids begin to learn together from people you can trust, because maybe you don't have the skills, but if they can be taught by people that you can trust, it will still achieve almost the same thing. But the important thing is that you encourage them to learn early. And then the other thing is that you need to encourage creation, not just consumption. A child wakes up in the morning and sits on TikTok from morning till night, and their brains are literally fried. It takes them longer to understand a thing you say, because they are used to just stimulation of just, you see, the whole concept of never ending videos. TikTok doesn't end. You keep watching and the next one will come up and you can just sit there for the whole day. It's designed to keep them hooked to monetize the platform. You can't be monetizing my kid. So, if you go to places like China, maybe you should take out time to study. I'm done. Go and study how they raise their kids. The TikTok they created is not the same TikTok they use in China. The content their kids watch there is not the same content our kids watch here. They filter it. The TikTok there shows them leadership skills, shows them tech skills, shows them how to build things. And we're here watching cartoon and comedy and foolish things. And these are the kids we are raising to compete with their level of technology. How are we raising the techie kids now? So, encourage them to create their own content. I'm going to skip a lot of this. Now, your job as a parent is that you're going to be a tech mentor. What's that? Give me that phone. That is not a parenting strategy for today. Whether you take the phone from them or not, content is available out there. The gates for content are all down. Nobody controls content anymore. So whether on your phone or anywhere, they will access the content. What you want to do as a parent is to give them context for the application of the content they're consuming. So you need to ground them in principles. So when your child holds a phone, that here's the phone, if you tap XX, it can open a porn site. But because of the software you've already installed in that child, he will not type the XX. And even if it pops up, he will click it and close it away because of the software you've installed in him or her. So you need to be a tech mentor, providing guidance, discernment, context, all right? Providing wisdom around how to use this stuff. So let me wrap up with this. I don't know what to skip, what to say, but I'll pick randomly. Okay. Get your kids to be involved in real world projects. Learning coding, I know how many of us, your kids learned coding? Let me see. Your child learned coding. All right, how many of them have used the coding to do anything serious since then? It's just knowledge they have at the background. So one of the things you can do, when they're done learning coding, let them go and intern. Send them across to an organization. Go and do internship for free. The next long holiday, long vacation, let them go and intern. Because nobody's interested in whether you graduated with a first class honors from Covenant or whatever university. The question is, what problem can you solve that human beings can buy? What app can you create that solves problems for people? You're on Facebook not because Mark Zuckerberg had a first class from Harvard. You're on Facebook because he created something that appeals, whether it's a real problem or not. The perceived problem is the need for recognition, and that's what Facebook solves. And somehow, you've made him a billionaire because of that. So send your kids to go and learn. Let them have hands-on, skills. All right? I'm going to skip all of that. Finally, how many times have I said finally? That's how you know a pastor. Oh, God. So, learn to allow your kids to explore with technology, but set boundaries. Be the person who goes to find research apps. Let me just calm down with this. Let me close this so I don't continue. Research what apps they're using. Some of them have found a way around some of the apps you put on, or, you are checking their browser history in this era. If your kids are doing bad things, you won't find it on browser history. They know how to use incognito mode and they know how to wipe their browser history. So you need to go beyond that. Get apps. Some of them will cost you money to subscribe for. There are apps like Covenant Eyes. Covenant Eyes will be on their device. It will tell you when they go on websites that have pornographic stuff. All of those are things that help you govern your children. Because whether you like it or not, tech is here to stay. For you to turn a blind eye and claim that you don't know what's going on is for you to damage them. A lot of things are happening online right now. Some people, discipleship is happening online. Their children are being, groomed to become thieves. And you don't know. So, be the last word I'm leaving you with, be their tech what? Mentor. Allow the room for open communication. If you ever see something online that is troubling to you, can we discuss about it? Don't be the kind of parent that when the child comes and says, Mommy, I saw a lady. She was wearing half-nude dress. What do you mean by half-nude? No. Half-nude, come. How do you mean? Half-nude, describe it for me. Where did the clothes stop? That opens the child up to begin to have that conversation with you, and you begin to know where the child has gone to and where he has not gone to. Some children don't even know that there's something called cyberbullying. Somebody's online bullying them. The child does not know because it's your job to know that and educate the child and say, you know what, if somebody does X, Y, Z to you online, that is called cyberbullying. Talk to me. But if I take a census here, please, parents, what is cyberbullying? If you know cyberbullying, what it means, show your hand. Just look around, turn around, look around. Only one parent, 2 parents, 3 parents, 4 in this hall. And we have kids. So there's a whole lot more. So time fails me to complete all of that. The book will come out soon. You'll see it online somehow, somewhere. Thank you so much for the time. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. For this season, when you listen to him, you know something tells you